What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It is the 7th day of November, and here we are right at about $100,000, just above there. 9 hours and 6 minutes left in the day. We have gone below 100K yet again today. We've seen a low as $99.2 thousand today. And while this tweezer bottom was looking very promising here, this one right here, right? If we were looking at this a couple days ago, it was looking like a very promising tweezer bottom. We did say that we could go below these lows and still, we can still prevail to the upside. Maybe we go slightly lower, we get a fake out low, maybe we get a flash crash, and then we come up. We can definitely delve lower into this $100,000 range, below this $100,000 range. But the caveat there is we don't want to go below this trend line. Okay, again, ideally we don't even touch this trend line. Ideally, we get what's called a partial decline, where you reach for it and you can't hit it, right? And we'll know that the partial decline is in once we get back above this high here, right? Technically, right? We'll start getting excited once we're back above 110K, sure, but when we're above 116.4K, that's whenever it's time to get really excited, because then we validate this as a low, and we validate the idea, the thought here, that we are in fact breaking out of this megaphone pattern, but to the upside, right? That's the whole sequence of events that needs to take place there. It is completely acceptable and fine to go lower than these lows here, but we don't want to go too much lower, right? You don't want to go below, at this point in time, like today, we wouldn't want to go below $95,000, or tomorrow or the next day, $95,000 as well, basically, right? You don't want to go below that level. So we can go a little bit lower, but we want a rapid and proper reaction off of that. If we do see lower lows, we want to move back up. Now the question here is, are we even going to go lower? Is this the low itself? Can we find support here and move up higher? We've definitely seen little moments like this where we've grinded out a bottoming area for a few days and then we move up, right? Just like here, right? You had the tweezer bottom, you had a slightly lower low, and then you moved up. So if anybody's looking at this and saying, "Oh, this definitely means you're going lower," no, we've seen moments just like this in the past where we've moved up afterwards. So I'm not concerned with that. But let's look at the 1 hour time frame. We'll zoom out from there and see what we're looking at. Okay, looking at the 1 hour time frame, zooming way the hell in. If anything, this kind of looks like a double bottom overall. It's kind of nice. A lot of volume coming in, but you're not really going anywhere, right? Whenever you get a lot of volume, but you're not going anywhere, typically you do reverse. Not always, but typically. Maybe there's more to come, but it looks like we're holding this $100,000 level right now. It looks like that's what's being held as support. The RSI does have lower lows. We're bouncing out of the oversold zone, but we did get a proper rejection there, right? Getting in, getting out, like within the next hour right there. That's very nice to see. Very positive right there. The stochastics are also positive, and the MACD, you do have bullish divergence with the histogram here decaying there and further decaying there, higher lows throughout here while providing lower lows throughout the price. That is bullish divergence, and I think we're making a play off of that. The stochastics, the MACD, and the reaction off the oversold zone here make me think that we are going to move up higher. So that's the thought there. If we look at the 4 hour time frame, in other words, let me just say this clearly: if we are moving lower, if we do take out these lows, it's not going to be happening over the coming hours, and perhaps not even for the rest of this day. So I don't think it's going to happen here. I do think that we're going to bounce from here and move up higher. 4 hour time frame, the stochastics unfortunately did find resistance at the 50, but fortunately enough, we rejected the hell out of that oversold zone. We're having a nice reaction right now. 1 hour and 3 minutes left. I think it's very important that this 4 hour candle closes green, because if it does, we validate this idea that we are in fact bouncing from here and that we could be moving higher. Same thing with the RSI, bouncing off the oversold zone. That's a really good look in itself. It's not nice that we've been hanging out down here, that we've been grinding this area, but we are bouncing off the oversold zone, and that is something to appreciate in itself. The MACD is, I mean, if anything, it's bearish overall. It's not really anything to go off of, but we are at a point to bounce here with the oscillators being that close. So hopefully we do get some separation. We get some growth in the price, and that'll allow the oscillators to diverge from each other and build some bullish momentum. Anyways, 4 hour time frame, 1 hour time frame. To me, I am seeing signs that we are ready to bounce here. We have 1 hour left in this 4 hour candle. If we come back down, if we were to close below, like $100,000, that might be not problematic, but might be a signal that we do have a little bit lower to go immediately. But that would just disagree with what I'm seeing here on the 1 hour time frame, which is fine. The 4 hour and the 1 hour can disagree, and the 4 hour normally prevails. But the 1 hour gives me hope that we're going to bounce. The 4 hour gives me hope that we're going to bounce as long as it closes green. Okay, as long as it closes green. I suppose you could close red, and we could still look forward to bouncing on the next candle, but You know, I don't know, the next one would have to close green. Then if this one closes red, it'd have to close barely red, and then the next one would have to close green. But something like that. We're definitely, to me, it looks like we're in an area to bounce. So that's what I'm going to call for. Is this kind of odd? It would make sense to go lower, looking at it on a daily time frame. Wouldn't really make sense to find support here. It looks like we're grinding out this area, and it's going to give way. It would make sense that we bounce here to me. Stochastics are oversold, bearish. The RSI on the daily time frame does have slight, very slight bullish divergence here with these higher lows and these lower lows here on a closing basis. The MACD is bearish, so you've got a bearish stochastics and a bearish MACD. In all fairness, though, there is some bullish divergence with the histogram here, giving you higher lows with the lower lows in the price. And we haven't, I don't think we've seen that move come to play yet. So this move doesn't have to activate, though. We don't need this bullish divergence to activate until we get a little bit of decay in the bearish momentum. So these oscillators, the blue line and the orange line, whenever they're moving away from each other, when they're diverging, you get this building in bearish momentum. We need the blue line to start coming up toward the orange line, right? We need them to start converging. When they do, we'll start decaying in bearish momentum, and that would signal that we have bullish divergence here. So it does look like bullish divergence, but it's not confirmed until we get some light red bars, okay? Until then. So it's set up. We just have to move with the setup. And again, going back to the 1 hour, the fact that we've moved down here, we've tested these lows. We're trying to contest them. We've got a lot of volume coming in on this drop, but we're not going anywhere. That makes me that gives me confidence that even if we do go lower, it probably won't be by much, and we probably do reverse from here, right? It's like I don't know, like this over here, right? You had no volume at all. Volume starts to come in, and you didn't go anywhere. You just found resistance at the same point. So what did you do? You reversed it down, right? Let's see. Can we find another example of this? Perhaps. Kind of like this, right? Except inevitably you did go higher. But here, you know, you had a lot of volume. You had breakout volume compared to everything else. This was above average volume right here. But you didn't go anywhere. You were just finding resistance at the same points you've been finding resistance, so you came back down. This wasn't that dramatic of a reaction, but still. Point being that this right now, at least with this volume, you should be breaking out. The fact that you're not breaking out tells me, you know, maybe we do the opposite. Maybe we move up from here. The 4 hour time frame bouncing off the oversold areas, right? That's good in itself. And then we look at the daily time frame, bullish divergence on the RSI and on the MACD. If today can close a little bit higher, I mean, if today closes here, we have bullish divergence, but tomorrow would have to be a good day. In itself. Overall, the daily time frame, if we're just speaking bluntly, it looks bad. The daily time frame looks really bad, honestly. But you typically look your worst when you're at your worst. So we'll see, right? The crypto fear and greed index is at a 21. If we close today here, we close today red like this, or even a little bit lower, I do assume that we would get into levels of extreme fear, which are below 20. We haven't seen extreme fear since April 7th, and April 7th was our last kind of significant low for Bitcoin and the crypto markets as a whole. So certainly near points here. Again, we found a low here, a slightly lower low, and then did we go lower than both of those lows? Yes, but it was just so slightly below there, and then we moved up higher. We had a lot of volume come in, but we didn't go anywhere. So what did we do? We reversed, right? Same kind of idea here. We're getting a lot of volume here, but we're not really going anywhere, right? We're actually just right here at the base area. So this is, you know, we should be breaking out. And don't get me wrong, to a certain degree, we have broken out of this area, right? It's a clear breakout of this here, but we're more or less still in this bottoming range, right? Just because we went a little bit lower, this breakout isn't really breaking, right? We didn't fall through the floor. We're just barely below where we were before. And with that much volume, I would think that the lack of persistence down indicates that we might reverse up. And then again, we look at this megaphone pattern, the partial decline, which where you reach for this lower trend line and you can't hit it, right? It's a partial decline. It's not a full decline down. Indicates, or implicates, I should say, that we would reverse and that we would inevitably break out of this to the upside. When we break out of this pattern to the upside, the measure move that corresponds with that takes us to about $155,000, something right up there. So that's the assumption. I think that we will see a Bitcoin price of 155K either by the end of this month of November. As crazy as that is, I wonder how many people are calling for that by the end of November, or something maybe in December is when we see this. I'm sure a lot of people are expecting that price in December, but it could happen fast, guys. We've seen Bitcoin move at very fast paces before. You know, if we were to move here, like at this pace from a low to a high right here, it's like the fastest 9 days that we've seen all cycle right there. If we were to move at this pace from the current price, you know, we'd be at 140K by the 16th of November. So again, we can definitely move at a fast pace if we want to, but we got to be in moments of real, what's the word I'm looking for? Despair, depression, anxiety in the markets before we make those kind of strides. And I think that we're in those levels now. It would be really nice to see the fear and greed index get into extreme fear. If we do that, that would be a powerful signal, in my opinion, that not only are we near a low point, but we're near a point at which we are going to see some voluptuous upside in a very short amount of time. I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I'm going to end the video there. If you guys like the video, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. We're just inside of this megaphone pattern, waiting to break out one way or the other. I think we're going to go to the upside. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.